Good morning, ladybugs. Happy Tuesday. Today we're going to kind of do a fun experiment with containers, and we're going to find out which container holds less and which holds more. And so I've got a number of different containers here, and we're going to experiment first with the rice and then with some colored blue water. I colored it blue so that you'll be able to see it a little bit easier, okay? So first, let's start with some just plain rice here, okay? So when you cook and bake, like Miss Carla and I do, you use measuring cups, right? And so I have some measuring cups here. I have two different kinds. I have this little kind of like chicken one, which is kind of cute, and all the chickens are different colors. I've got white, pink, yellow, and blue. And then I just have some plain green ones too. And because they go from biggest to smallest, you can fit them inside just like that, right? They're supposed to kind of nestle inside one another. So we're going to start with the rice, okay? This chicken says 1 cup. So if I need to measure 1 cup of something, it could be flour or rice or whatever you want, I'm going to use this measuring cup. Or I could use this one, which is also 1 cup. Do they look the same size? They look a little different, don't they? We're going to find out. To me, this one looks a little bit bigger. But when you get a measuring cup, they have to be pretty precise. They can't just say, oh, it's about 1 cup, or maybe it's a little over or a little less. It should be exactly 1 cup. So I haven't tested any of these things. I thought you and I could test it first, and we can find out together if our experiments are correct, okay? So I don't want my kitty to drink the blue water there. All right, so first we're gonna start with the rice. And I'm gonna pour my rice carefully, because I'm in my living room, right? Really don't feel like having white rice all over the floor. So I'm just gonna kind of pat it down a little bit so that, like you do with flour, like if I'm looking at it, it's going to go exactly right to the top. It might have been over the top a little bit more than that, but all right. So I put the chicken, the 1 cup measure with the rice in the chicken, and now I'm going to use the same 1 cup, but the green cup, it should be exactly the same. Okay, so I'm going to carefully pour it in. I got a little bit there, but it's okay. I can get my vacuum and vacuum it up, right? All right, I'm gonna put it to the top and then kind of pat it down. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my rice and put it over here so it's not in my way here. Okay, so I need to make 2 cups of rice. For 2 cups of rice, you start with 1 cup, 2 cups of water and 1 cup of rice, because the rice expands while it cooks. So these are both supposed to be the same, right? Even though I feel like the chicken looks a little bit bigger. So I have 2 glasses that are exactly the same. Okay, for my science experiment, I have to have everything exactly the same. And these are the same plastic cup, but just 2 different ones. Okay, so now I'm going to pour the rice into the cups. And do you think that this is going to be more rice than this? I kind of feel like it might, because it looks a little bit bigger, but let's find out and see, okay? All right, so I'm going to pour it into my first cup. Trying not to spill any. And then I'm going to shake it flat. And these cups are kind of nice because they have like lines across them. So this kind of comes to that line, that second line right there, okay? All right, I'm all done with that. Now I'm gonna take this chicken and I'm gonna pour this in. Oh, well, I did make a little bit of a mess here. Wow. And this is kind of how I suspected that they are not quite the same, are they? The blue chicken did hold more. That should not be right, but sometimes things are not exactly like when you get measuring cups. You have to maybe test to make sure they're right, because this is a little bit more than 1 cup, even though I overfilled it just a little bit. Wow. Well, I'm going to remember that next time I use these cups and I bake, because I want to make sure that I have the exact amount, right? Okay, so now let's put our rice over here, away from my cats. Okay, and then I'm gonna just put my measuring cups over here. I'm gonna clean up all my spilled rice here so it doesn't get in the way of my water experiment, okay? Now we're gonna measure using, this was a dry measurement, right? Because rice is not a liquid, it's a solid, it's dry. And now, let me see, I'll just put this in here. Now we're going to do the same experiment, kind of, but we're going to be using liquid water, right? So I've got my pitcher of water, and I've got a bunch of different containers here. All different glass containers so you can see through. Let's see, maybe I should sort them from the tallest to the smallest. Does that sound good? All right, so let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 containers. And which one do you think is the tallest? I think it's got to be this one. This one looks like the tallest to me. So I'm going to put this one right here. And then what would come next? Oh, I think it's this one, right? It's a little bit shorter, but it's taller than my next one, which is this one here. Wow, so that's just a little bit shorter than that one. Which vase would come next? How about, let's try that one here. Okay. And then, let's try this one. Well, actually this one. And then, there I go. I've arranged it from the tallest to the smallest, right? Okay, so I'm only going to work with a couple of vases at a time, glass containers, because we kind of know that this being the smallest probably wouldn't hold as much water as these big ones, right? So let's start with our biggest containers here. Which one do you think would hold more water? This one or that one? This one is definitely taller. Maybe that one would hold more water. Well, let's do a little experiment. Now this is going to be the tricky one to pour. The rest of them are pretty easy because what you pour it in is pretty wide, but this has a narrow one. So if I spill it, it's just water, even though it's blue. But I've got a towel here, okay, just in case. All right, so let's see. Let's pour this into here. And I haven't done these experiments, so I'm doing these experiments right with you at the same time. So I don't really know which ones are going to do what. So I'm going to fill this one all the way to the top, right? There it goes. It takes a while because I want to be kind of careful and I don't want to spill it. Here we go. We're pouring along here. I'm getting close to the top, so I'm going to slow down a little bit so I don't... Oh, there we go. We are at the top. Okay, so I filled up the tallest container to the top with water. Do you think this taller container holds more water than this shorter one? Take a guess, because then I'm going to pour. Okay, we'll see. Did you get an answer? Huh. I think that, well, where do I think it's going to come onto the glass? If I pour this into here. Huh. Maybe like, right to here maybe. Let's see, which container holds more? Let's pour. Here we go. Oh, wow. I wasn't really... I thought maybe it might come to here, and it only came to here. I could fill this up with a lot more water, right? So which container do you think is going to hold more? The taller one or the one that's a little shorter, but it's a little wider? Definitely this one, right? I could pour, look at that, I could pour the whole pitcher. So this container holds more than even this one. Even though this one is pretty wide at the top, right? So far, this container holds the most, right? Well, how does it compare to this one, do you think? It's a little shorter. It isn't quite as wide, but where do you think, if I pour this water into here, where do you think it's going to go onto the vase? Do you think I can pour the whole thing into here, or do you think I'm going to have to stop because it's going to spill? Let's find out, okay? I predict, my guesstimate is that I'm not going to be able to use the whole thing. What do you guys think? All right, here we go. We're going to pour. I'm going to go to the top. Wow, I almost got it. Well, wow, that was kind of surprising. Look, that actually holds quite a bit of blue water. I only have a little bit left right here. I thought I was going to have a lot left that I wouldn't be able to pour in. So even though this container is a little shorter, and even though this container is shorter than that, they both hold more water than the tallest container, right? All right, I'm going to wipe off the table a little bit because I did spill a little bit here. All right, so now we have our next size, and it's this size. If I pour this into here, do you think I'm going to be able to pour the whole thing into there? How much do you think I'll have left over in here? Well, I was kind of wrong. I thought I would have a lot left over, and I only had a little bit left over when I poured from the tall to the next one. I think I'm going to have maybe that much left over. What do you guess? You're making a prediction. All right, let's see. Oh, this is going to be a little trickier to pour because it's a little wider, but oh, I got to do it kind of quickly here. I'm still spilling a little bit, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to pour it to the top, all the way to the top here. Oh, well, you know what? It holds quite a bit of water. Even though it's shorter. Maybe I thought maybe it might come to there and it's a little bit shorter. That's very interesting. Okay, so let's go with our next glass container. This one here. Where do you think, I'm going to leave this in here, okay? I was able to use all the water and pour it into there, and I was able to use most of the water and pour it into here. Now I do have a little bit less than I had. I have a little bit more left than I did over there. But now I'm going to pour this container into here. How much left? How much water do you think I'll have left? Do you think it will be more than that? Let's find out. We're going to pour again. I have to be careful because it's a little, if you do this experiment, you might want to do it like outside where you don't have to worry. Oh, I think I'm going to fill it up a little bit more to the top here. Oh, wow, look at that. Wow, this container didn't hold very much at all, did it? I have a lot of blue water left. That was surprising. I thought maybe I only might have about that much left. Definitely this container doesn't hold as much as this one or that one. I meant this one doesn't hold as much as these. Yeah, this container actually holds quite a bit more than I thought. All right, let's go to our next size. Here we have this one. It's just a teeny bit shorter than this container here. So do you think I'll be able to pour all of this blue water into here and not have any left? What's your guesstimate going to be? Oh, I don't know. I think I'm going to guess that I can pour all of this into here and not have any left over in this vase. You want to make a guess of your own? All right. Let's pour. Here we go. Oh, I was right. Wow. Yay, I was right this time. Look at that. This does not hold as much as this container, even though this container is a little bit shorter. This container holds more. Look at, I still have a lot of room right there, right? I could pour a lot more. Wow, that's kind of surprising. So this one, I think because it kind of is narrow at the bottom. All right, well, we have one more glass container, and it's definitely the shortest one, but look at how wide it is. It's pretty wide. Okay, one last guesstimate, ladybugs. Do you think that this container, that I can pour all of the blue water from here into here and not have any left? What do you think? I'm going to make my guess. I think I might have a little bit of blue water left in here. So my guesstimate is that I may not be able to have all of the blue water. All right, let's do our experiment and find out. Let's test it. Here I go. I'm going to pour it in there. And I'm going to pour it all the way to the top. Oh, we're getting so... Oh, wow. Look at that. That one I was not correct, right? I guessed wrong. But that's okay. I can do it again. So this container, even though it's quite a bit shorter than that container, does it hold? It holds the same amount of water. You wouldn't think that, right? Would you think that because that's taller and this is smaller, that this container would hold more, right? But I can see from looking at the top of the jar that this container is it's not quite as wide, right? If you measured it with our measuring stick or our measuring tape, I bet we would find that this is a little bit smaller of an opening. Okay, so these two containers, even though they don't look alike, they hold the same amount of water. Well, that was a really fun experiment, and you know what? I can go outside later on and I can take my blue water and maybe go in the grass where it won't matter if I spill it, and I can do lots of other experiments by pouring water into different containers, okay? Or maybe even using measuring cups and finding out, you know, how much each thing holds, okay? All right, ladybugs, I hope you have a great morning, and I hope you enjoyed our fun science experiment with water. All right, see you later.